Good afternoon, everyone. We are Miss Donna team, and our team members are Jiyoung, Hyoyoung, and me, Sakura. Let's start our presentation. What do you think is the effective way for students to advance their speaking and listening skills? It is autonomous and effective participation in class. Today, we shall be suggesting you about a creative, surely creative way for teachers to make students improve their speaking and listening skills. It's easy and interesting and interactive activity. You have to attend the presentation to gain more impressive and interesting ways for improvement of students' speaking and listening skills. Our innovative method for LS abilities absolutely makes you the best teacher, the very best teacher. We will introduce our inventive method from now. This is our contents. It's begin from aim and setup, activities, example, beauty and the best, what we learned, strong point and weak point, recommendation, and lastly, conclusion and summary. What is that? Thank you. Up to contents about AIM, I'll make presentation for you. And next presenter, Hyoyoung, is going to explain our setup and example and what we learned. And lastly, Jiyoung will tell you strong point and weak point, recommendation, and conclusions. And if you guys have any questions about our contents, please ask us after the presentation. As I said before, our aim on the presentation is how we can let students improve their listening and speaking skills. In Korea, a new test, NEET, National English Ability Test, were made formally for improving and assessing students' LS abilities. As you can see from appearance of the new test, there are a lot of attentions and concerns about leveling up students' LS skills. In education, the most important point is that teachers would teach students in an effective way. We made this creative method for 3C abilities: concentration, conversation, and cooperation. Firstly, because students should listen more carefully for making continuous story, they can improve their concentration. And secondly, students can forward their conversation skills as they are needed for recording next story. And lastly, students can raise their cooperation skills because our activity is not personal activity but group activity. From now, we have made known our activities aim. This is end of my presentation, and Hyoyoung will introduce our next part, setup part. Thank you.
Now I'm going to explain how to do this activity. Briefly, as you see this picture, there are 3 steps. Watch and listen, and create, summarize and paraphrase, and post it to the forum. It's easy and interesting and interactive. I'm going to explain more about it next slide. I prepared figures to help you understand our activity, and we created 3 whole stories and 1 more extra one. As you can see, one person posts the original half of the story, and 2 people make newly created story and post it to the forum. And First person choose the best story of our newly created story. And next, other two people create story again, and the the selected person choose the best ending. It's easy and interesting and interactive. Now this is the specific example of our activity. Even this is an extra round, we prepared it to understand, help you understand easily. But there was problem, so we should go to our forum.
Once upon a time, in a faraway land, a young prince lived in a shining castle. Although he had everything his heart desired, the prince was bored, selfish, and unkind. But then, one winter's night, an old beggar woman came to the castle and offered him a
I posted recording like this, and Jiyoung and Sepbyul made a new story and posted.
Young prince that is the best always complained about his life. So the manager who handled all things was often afraid and frightened of the prince because he complained and sometimes beat people in his castle. On top of that, the worst thing was that the manager
Who do you think is the winner? I think they are all winners. Do you remember it? You guys voted for the best story that we made. Many people choose Aladdin. Through this project, you can improve speaking, listening skills, and also you can be more creative, and you can also interact with other people through our forum. There are lots of advantages of our project. We've talked about how our presentation works. Next, Jiyoung will continue our presentation.
Okay, then I'm Jiyoung, the next presenter. Now I will show you the strong and weak points. There are 3 strong points and 3 weak points. Firstly, I will show you the information about strong points first. First of all, from listening enjoyable fairy tale, we can get interesting about listening. Do you know Aladdin's first story? I know all of you have an idea of genie or 3 wishes, but anyone who know about 3 wishes are exactly. The 3 wishes are, first one is, make me as a prince, make Aladdin as a prince, and second one is, please save me from deep water, and third one is, freedom to genie. This was the third 3 wishes. After this activity, we can get strong plot about that we knew fatigue. Secondly, because it is very easy to follow, because fairy tale is for other students, so we can be have a comfortable with listening or speaking. And lastly, from making story, we can develop our creativity. Also, we can get some interesting from changing the ending. Now let's move on to weak points. Weak points. First of weak points is that it's too easy. Because fairy tales are too easy, there is no difficult words to learn. Second weak point is it takes too long time to create a new story. Creating new story is good for developing creativity, but bad for take much time. Third one is use words that we already knew. Because we make the stories that we already knew, because we construct the story that we already knew, we can have can have learned about the new words. And let's move on to recommendation. Let's move on to recommendation. For make an activity to have more benefit, too easy can change into 10 more challenging story. And secondly, to improve activity to be more related to listening or speaking, writing comments can change into voice comments. Thirdly, there was have a word problem about easy words, so we can change into give some words should include in next story. We can learn the words. In addition, we can also limit the storyline in certain way. This is one example of this recommendation. We did it in extra round, and it was very useful and interesting. The words are from middle school textbook, so the words are not difficult either. Well, that covers everything I want to say. Let me just go over the key points again. Firstly, Zetbier has started the presentation with aim, and that was improving listening and speaking skills through interesting fairy tales. Then Hyoyoung has shown setup of activity, and also she showed about activity what we did. There was Snow White, Pinocchio, Aladdin, and Beauty and the Beast. She also showed example about Beauty and the Beast and what we learned. And lastly, I have showed setup. I have gave you information about strong and weak points. There was 3 strong points and 3 weak points. And also I gave you the recommendation of make it better. I trust you gain an insight of benefits of this activity. It is easy, interesting, and interactive activity. This is a trailer of Beauty and the Beast.
Classic returns to the big screen and becomes a 3D event.
This is her lucky day.
It's wonderful.
Disney's Beauty and the Beast 3.
Isn't it interesting? Why don't you start? So if you have any question, please feel free to give us.
I think we can evoke some interest in girls that does boys like this activity?
So would you like to know that this activity is proper to boys?
Yeah.
I think from the recommendation, I think there are we have a recommendation about changing the story in more challenging story. So I can for the boys, I think somewhat like Harry Potter or that story can be interesting for boys.
Can you explain again about your process?
Please back this one. I will inform again our steps. First, in this case, I record the original content of the fairy tale, right? And so on. And Jiyoung and Hyoyoung recorded again with their own creative story, continuous new story. And I chose who is the best content have. So I select Jiyoung, so Hyoyoung and me recorded again with new continuous story, and Jiyoung sum up our files and make completion of our story and post the forum. Are
Thank
you
you very much.
understanding? Thank you.
What is the purpose of showing the last video, which is animation?
To encourage you guys to try this project.
Great, thanks very much.